for having me. Super happy to be coming back here and just to like talk a bit about my journey since graduation. Some people graduate and they have a straight line to like what they're going to do. I've been kind of on the other side of that spectrum. So I can say a bit about like what happened to me after graduating.
Sure. Yeah, that would be nice.
Carleton in 2018 with a degree in journalism and African studies. After that, I got an internship for a magazine that's now called Broadview Magazine in Toronto. So I interned with them, ended up getting an assistant digital editor gig. And then I thought I wanted to try working in community arts. So I got a contract working for an organization, did that for a bit. And then I was like, maybe I want to go back to journalism. So I got a job with Radio Canada, which is the French CBC. And I ended up training in Saskatchewan and then living in Vancouver for the job. So I reported for Radio Canada out west for about a year and 3 months. And then I got a summer gig at the Globe and Mail, which is the summer reporter program. So I moved back to Toronto for that, did the summer at the Globe and Mail, and then kind of had opportunity to, work with Radio Canada for a bit since they were my previous employer before making the move to marketing. So what I'm currently doing right now, I'm a brand and content specialist for an organization called the Black Professionals in Tech Network in Toronto. It's more on the marketing side of things. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm helping the company define its brand voice. And I do everything from copywriting for some of the events that we have happening every week, finding people or speakers who are going to participate in our events, writing content for the website, writing blog posts. So it's kind of like an all hands kind of touching a bit of different aspects of marketing.
What are your most memorable experiences from your student days at Carleton?
Yeah. My most memorable experiences at Carleton, I would say I was really involved with the African Studies department. I was co-president of the Institute of African Studies Student Association. And there were other years where I was just really involved, even though I wasn't in the official student association. So we organized events like debate nights called Africa Talks, where we got different students from campus debating topics related to like the African continent. We just like all the events that I was able to do with African studies and the friends that I was able to meet through, I would say those are some of my best memories from my time at Carleton.
And it's interesting to hear about your experiences with African studies because it is a fairly small program. There aren't lots of majors, but there's a lot of things going on. So can you talk a little bit about how you ended up sort of deciding, I guess you took a course and then decided that you wanted to major in this?
Sure. So yeah, I can talk about African studies. Honestly, small institute, but has my heart. Like I love African studies, the department, all the professors, everybody who was there was amazing. It was just a curiosity that I had just because my background, like my parents are Congolese, even though I was born and raised here, always grew up in a house where, people are always talking about politics, what's happening back home, etc. And then when I got to Carleton, I actually ended up finding out that there was like a thing that's called like an African studies degree or some courses. And I don't know that I was able to take the courses in first year, but in second year, I took some of the courses and then I ended up actually declaring it as my second major. And so my experience in African studies is you kind of get there on your first day. There's like this, I think it's like a small orientation for the students who get there. And you're in a room and there's maybe like 15 other people there. You're just like, okay, what is this? But you really start to understand that it's an open door policy. Everybody knows everybody. And it's really interdisciplinary, right? So I was there with the journalism and African studies, but you had some people who are history and African studies. There's even somebody who was like I think math and African studies at some point. And it's just about the continent is so vast. There's so many different things that like you can decide to study African studies from different angles. It's just about what is your passion and what's the angle that you want to bring into it. And that's kind of going to map out the classes that you want to take. So I was really interested in like geopolitics and history. So that's what I did. But there are other people who took like classes that were more like economics when it relates to the continent or conflict studies when it comes to the continent. So that's the thing that kind of excited me. It's because it was a degree or a department where you could kind of like create your own curriculum or kind of like really explore what you wanted when you were in African studies.
So what did you bring away from your degrees in journalism and African studies that have helped you in, the jobs that you've gotten since you graduated?
Yeah, for sure. So from journalism, I will say the side that's like writing, editing, communications, interviewing, like these are all skills that even if you don't become a journalist, they're really useful in the marketplace. Like you don't we sometimes neglect what we're able to do, but being able to write and communicate is such a useful tool regardless of where you end up working. But like journalism teaches you one set of skills, but African studies, I think, is the degree that really like expanded my mind and taught me how to think maybe like critically about different things when it comes to the world, like just the readings that we were doing or the questions that my professors were like prompting me to ask, both of them and the work that we were doing. Like, I think that's where I really grew as a thinker and grew as somebody who knew how to like understand and relate to the world. And so I think that implemented my journalism, because I think it was the difference between being somebody who just knows how to do the job and somebody who knows how to think about the job. Right. And so that's what I took out from African studies specifically. And so even if I'm not like a journalist who's reporting on Africa, I think it just gave me a curiosity that I carry with me wherever I go. The point of being in university is to like learn and to grow as a thinker, right? And sometimes we go in and we think that, you know, I'm here and I have to finish my degree in 4 years and then I need to be out and I need that paper. Whereas I would say like really have fun when you're in university, because I was like, I wish I had taken like a random elective course in like computer science, for instance. Like you can take an elective course in any department in the university that you want to. And like nobody told me that. And I understood that a little bit too late, right? So you have your core degree, but feel free to just like follow your curiosity and be like, hey, I'm curious about this. And if you want to change degrees or switch degrees, it's fine. Like it's not a bad decision. More often than not, it might actually be like the better decision because you're following your passion, right? So treat university not as like a checkbox that you need to go through and like get your diploma, but actually it's like an opportunity for you to learn so many things, and you have access to so many resources that you might not have access to when you graduate, or you might just not have the time to like learn all these things when you're in the job market, right? So see it as an opportunity to learn and to grow and to meet so many people. So like school and classes are important, but there's more to it than that, I would say.
So why Carleton? Why choose Carleton to do an undergrad degree?
Personally, I would say that the community on the Carleton campus is something that, like, I can't speak to other universities because I haven't been there, but I found that when I came to Carleton, I didn't really feel alone. And whether it was like the people that I met in the African Studies department, that's where I was able to make a lot of friends, or even the friends that I made in journalism, the different student societies, like campus politics. It's a university where you don't just go to do your assignment and go home, but there's a very vibrant life that happens on campus, and there's so many different opportunities for you to get involved. And so if I were to say like why Carleton, it's because it's somewhere where you don't just go to get a degree and move on, but you actually go to grow and learn how to live in society. And like, I don't know, I think it's a like tiny microcosm of like what you're going to find outside. So that's what I would say. There's a lot of good human experiences at Carleton University.
Okay. Thank you so much.